Ferrari's paddocks have never felt so ensnared by an undercurrent of apprehension. What was billed as a routine filming day at Mugello last week swiftly metamorphosed into a clandestine battleground, one that may decide the fate of Lewis Hamilton's debut season in Scarlet. Behind those iron gates, the SF25 wasn't circling for glossy footage, it was on the hunt for salvation. Since preseason tests, the SF25 has haunted its drivers with a cruel duality. Fleeting flashes of one-lap brilliance marred by an unforgiving operational window. Only under the most precise confluence of track temperature, setup data, and tire pressures does the car sparkle, and even then, it balks at the high-speed corners, its rear end quivering like a creature spooked by its own shadow. For a team that vowed resurrection with Hamilton's arrival, the result has felt like a betrayal. After a promising 2024 that saw Ferrari finish a close second in the constructors' standings, hope soared. Yet 3 races into 2025, the Scuderia finds itself locked in a nightmare of inconsistency. Hamilton's challenges have been twofold: learning a fresh team culture while wrestling a car that seemed further away. Each weekend, a fresh blow to morale. Enter Spa-Francorchamps, the legendary green hell, where elevation changes and high-speed sweeps will punish any lingering instability. For Ferrari, Spa is not merely another race. It is the arena for their reckoning. And at the heart of this gamble lies a radical rear suspension update, born in the crucible of Mugello's secret test. Ferrari's engineers recognized that refining minor details on an unstable platform was a fool's errand. To rescue 2025, they would need to re-engineer the SF25's very spine. The target, the rear suspension, the system most responsible for ride height variability under dynamic loads, an affliction that allowed the car's aerodynamic floor to breathe inconsistently, destroying downforce and rattling driver confidence. The new package is a study in subtle brutality. Pushrod geometry has been recontoured to resist excessive squat under acceleration, while anti-lift elements were retuned to maintain a steadfast aerodynamic platform as the car transitions through braking, corner entry, and full throttle. Carbon top roofs that once allowed unwanted flex have been redefined, anchoring the rear arms with surgical rigidity. On paper, simulations whispered of tenths gained. On track, the reality would demand a symphony of human trust. At dawn on that fateful Thursday, 2 SF25s slipped onto Mugello's sinewy curves, their scarlet liveries swallowed by morning mist. Hamilton and Charles Leclerc, Ferrari's twin protagonists, alternated behind the wheel, pushing the reconfigured cars through 80-odd brake zones and lightning-fast flow-throughs. In the control room, data streams glowed like ghostly constellations. Ride height measurements, suspension deflection graphs, aerodynamic loads all flickering under the engineer's anxious gaze. Hamilton's verdict arrived first. "It feels anchored," he breathed into his radio, his tone laden with cautious wonder. "The car trusts the asphalt where it balked before." Leclerc's response was quieter but equally charged. "I can commit deeper now. It's like someone erased the hesitation." 2 voices, 2 driving philosophies, converging on the same revelation. Ferrari's gamble had exorcised one of the car's most pernicious demons. Yet this was no instantaneous miracle. Later, in debriefs that stretched long into the night, engineers wrestled with dissonance between wind tunnel promises and on-track truths. The SF25's new rear architecture had tamed instability, but the data refused to align perfectly with preseason models. It was a reminder that working with these machines is as much art as engineering, where carbon fiber meets intuition, and no amount of simulation can fully predict a complex alloy of metal, aerodynamics, and human touch. In Maranello's golden halls, the atmosphere crackled with both relief and dread. The suspension update offered a lifeline, yet, if it faltered at Spa, the season's slumber would deepen into a coma. Designers led by technical director Loic Serra now face a brutal timeline. Refine the package further through simulator sessions, wind tunnel cross-validations, and perhaps another clandestine test before the Belgian weekend. For Hamilton, the stakes are intensely personal. He arrived at Ferrari to etch his legacy into the sport's most storied team, to prove that even 7 world championships couldn't appease a champion until he'd conquered his toughest adversary yet, the perfect Scarlet car. His feedback now carries weight not just in lap time discussions, but in the team's hierarchy. Each curve he masters is an argument that his instincts, honed on Mercedes championship machines, deserve a listening ear. Leclerc, too, understands the duel is more than mechanical. Once the uncontested heir of Ferrari, he now shares the spotlight and the engineer's trust with Hamilton. His own quiet hard work to tame the SF25's original quirks has earned admiration, but the arrival of this radical update tests the extent to which Ferrari can harmonize two distinct driving souls within one chassis. As Spa looms, a sense of foreboding grips the paddock. Will the SF25, bolstered by its mysterious new rear suspension, gallop through Eau Rouge's towering compression? Can its floor cling to the asphalt as the car hurtles into Radilon's blind crest? Or will the old specters of instability return, forcing Ferrari to watch yet another weekend slip through its grasp? Outside observers may see Spa as another clash for podium positions, but within Maranello, every millisecond of telemetry, every hydraulic reading is scrutinized for signs of redemption or ruin. The suspension update is more than a technical tweak. It is Ferrari's D-Day, their moment of truth. A success would inject momentum into a campaign teetering on the edge, narrowing the yawning gap to McLaren and setting the stage for a championship charge. A failure, however, could cement a narrative of decline, exposing structural flaws in design philosophy that echo back to seasons past. In this crucible of carbon and courage, Hamilton stands at the fulcrum of Ferrari's renaissance, or its deeper descent. Should he find speed and confidence in the updated SF25, his emotional bond with the car will strengthen, laying the foundation for both 2025's dramatic finale and Project 678's promise in 2026. For Leclerc, a successful Spa will reaffirm his status as the Scuderia's constant, proving that he can adapt as swiftly as any champion. As the paddock hums with speculation, one thing remains certain: the next few days will pulse with suspense unrivaled. When the lights go out at Spa-Francorchamps, every creaking suspension arm, every flicker of ride height sensor will carry the weight of Ferrari's desperation and its fervent hope. Will the prancing horse rise again, charged by a daring gamble in its rear suspension? Or will it falter, trapped in the same performance purgatory that has defined its season thus far? Ferrari's soul hangs in the balance. In the twilight of Mugello's secret test, they glimpsed a path forward. Now, under Spa's storm-laden skies, they must prove that path leads to glory, not ruin. And as Hamilton's scarlet machine hurtles into the unknown, one question echoes through Maranello's hallowed halls. Can a single suspension upgrade, forged in secrecy and driven by desperation, truly redraw the destiny of an entire season? Only the ghosts of Eau Rouge will know for certain.